Let me ask you about Yemen, a ceasefire set to last for 72 hours in Yemen, as 11 coalition airstrikes destroyed 2 Islamic State defense positions, 3 vehicles, while also killing 20 Islamic State militants. What are you expecting following this ceasefire?
Well, first of all, that's a good thing because they'll be able to get some humanitarian aid there. There's been 10,000 people killed there. That's a lot of people as a result of this war that's been going on for a year. Nothing in comparison to the 500,000 dead that have been killed in the 5-year civil war, certainly in Syria here. But this is all about the Iranians, Maria, and our government has not even stepped up to acknowledge that. The Iranians trained and armed the Houthis who overthrew a U.S.-backed government last year, forced the evacuation of a U.S. special operation base, forced the closure of a U.S. embassy here. And now they're shooting at U.S. warships, and that shooting had to be ordered by the Iranians. Make no mistake about that.
Yeah.
The Iranians are seeking domination of the Middle East, and we are not even stepping up to acknowledge that reality.
Right. And of course, Russia inserted itself in the Syria war. Turkey is warning that the U.S. and Russia could start the next world war if they cannot solve the conflict in Syria. Your thoughts on that warning?
Well, there certainly is potential for conflict between the United States and Russia, and it deals with Russia's desire strategically to push out and establish a buffer to its south and a buffer to its west in Eastern Europe. They have always believed that that is the only way to protect Mother Russia. They are phobic about a Frenchman who burned their major city and a German who came within 30 miles of it during World War II. We may not think that's a possibility, but it's irrelevant because they do. Yeah. And they are preoccupied with it. So much of their activity is around Russia establishing this strategic buffer. They are going to test us, for sure, in Eastern Europe and particularly in the Baltics. There is potential for conflict, and that's the reality that we are facing. That is why I think the major lesson from the Cold War is you have to have deterrence, and deterrence is 2 things. It's 1, the capabilities. They must be real, and 2, you must have intent to use them. And believe me, we do not have the capabilities in Eastern Europe, and given our president and the feckless Europeans, we have no intent to use them. And that invites the aggressiveness that you see Russia unfolding in Eastern Europe and also in Syria and the Middle East.
Very aggressive and just schooling the U.S. in some ways. So Putin has said now that he's not trying to influence the U.S. presidential election. He's also saying that he hopes relations between the 2 countries will normalize after this election. What do you think about Vladimir Putin's comments this morning? I mean, obviously, he had to make a comment because one side keeps blaming him for trying to get involved in the U.S. election.
Well, I believe our government when they say that the Russians are involved. We have very good forensics on when we receive a cyber attack. So I think we got them. We know who did this. So that's number 1. Number 2, he interfered in many elections in Eastern Europe. So the pattern is already there. MI5 is reporting to sources, and that's the intelligence agency in England, that Russia was involved in the Brexit vote. So the fact that they're involved in U.S. elections certainly is very unique for us, but not unique for them. And Russia pulls out all the tools to accomplish their national interest. And their national interest in the outcome of a U.S. election is obvious. They have picked a side, and that's what they're about here. It's outrageous that we tolerate this. We should have been doing something about this when it first began, exposed it, and then counterattacked. But we've done nothing yet. We're still wringing our hands, talking about it.
Why do you think they've picked a side? Is it because he hates and doesn't respect President Obama and feels that Hillary Clinton is the extension of him? I mean, what's behind them picking a side?
I don't really know, because if you just look at it, Obama has been the greatest gift to Putin in these last 8 years, because he's been able to make territorial gains. He's been able to get back on the world stage again at the expense of U.S. national interest. He is a major player in the Middle East, where we were a major player.
Obama doesn't do anything about it.
done nothing about it. So the perception that he has that maybe Secretary Clinton would be different than that based on the relationship that he had with her when she was Secretary of State, I don't know. And I don't think he knows much about Mr. Trump other than what his intelligence agencies are getting and what he's getting out of the media. So I can only speculate what's going on here as to why he's chosen the side. The other aspect of it is, which he does have an interest in, is he desires to weaken people's respect and regard for the United States government, expose some of the weaknesses of the U.S. democracy on a world stage, which he believes then weakens the relationship that the United States has with its allies, as they have less respect for the United States.
Right, and I guess he figures that makes Russia that much more strong and powerful. You know, if they lose respect for the U.S., they'll see Russia as the tough guy around the world. General, good to see you as always. Thank you so much.
Good talking to you, Maria.
General Jack Keane joining us there.